All right, so start off here. Let's take a look at the metagame percentages. Once again, I gotta give a big shout out to Robin Schultz. For anyone who's unaware, all of the limitless sites, the tournament site, the database site, this new lab site that Robin has set up. I'm really excited for when Robin has this site basically be live. I believe the goal for this site is to basically have this be similar to PokeData for anyone who's used PokeData in the past. So as the tournament's going on, you'll be able to go to standings and you'll see like updated round to round tournament progression live during a tournament. Currently, this is only post-tournament stats for us to look at, but even then, it's still pretty nice. So show anyone who's unfamiliar with this site, this is labs.limitlesstcg.com. On top of all the other sites that Robin has made. For anyone who doesn't know yet, it's all, I don't know if it's all Robin Schultz. I'm sure Robin has had some help with some of this stuff, but Robin is definitely the guy we can point to as being the main catalyst and reason for all the limitless sites. So huge shout out to Robin Schultz. Not only is he one of the best players in the modern era, he's also doing all of this for the Pokemon community. So it's kind of insane. Let's take a look at the metagame. Day one metagame. One thing that I didn't dive too deep into, and it's really hard to dive really deep into it, like just live on stream, but like is like the win percentage stuff that you also have here available that Robin has made available to all of us. I guess I'll say with that, Limitless also does have a Patreon. So if you're looking to just give back to anyone in the Pokemon community in general who does stuff for people, definitely go become a patron, or a Limitless TCG patron for sure. If you're just looking for someone to give back to in the Pokemon community, it definitely should be Limitless. Limitless should be like #1 on people's list to like give back to in the Pokemon community. So go check them out on Patreon. Yeah, so there's like the win percentages here as well. Like the overall win percentage, but you can go deeper than that, right? So if you click on day one, Dragapult, Dusknoir, and then matchups, you get like the matchup win percentages here as well. So there's like a lot of data to like look at here. Now, I wouldn't read too much into these numbers. I feel like people overly read into like the Trainer Hill online tournament win percentage data. I wouldn't overly read into that. But it is cool. It's also like more data to look at is always cool. So if you have like the time to like dive deeper into that, I'm not going to dive too deep into these win percentage numbers here today. And you also have to be like kind of realistic with it as well. Like last tournament, or like it's because if I click on like win percentage, make that the priority. Like Roy and Moon Dudunsparce, 91 win percent, right? What? But there was only one person playing it. So like, got to slow down, be like, hold up. You know, you have to have like a decent sample size before you lose your mind. Before you lose your mind, you have to have like a decent sample size. So you have to like set like a number of decks. You'd be like, okay, this is where all of a sudden I think. Well, you could look at all of it and then decide when you think it's like not like a huge outlier. Yeah, day one, Dragapult was the most popular again, 20% of the meta. Raging Bolt was actually, oh wait, we have to turn the pairing on though. Actually, no, hang on, it goes further actually. I had pairing off here. Pairing on, Dragapult was actually 27% of the meta. Raging Bolt was actually number 2 at 14. And then Gholdengo was there at 11%. So Gholdengo kind of fell off a little bit from the last tournament we had over in Atlanta. Gholdengo, I think, was like 14%. Now we're seeing it drop down here to 11. Gardevoir at 10, not a huge surprise. Tera Box actually hung around a little bit better than I thought it would. I thought it would have dropped a little bit lower. I don't think Tera Box was a ridiculously good play for this tournament. I don't think moving forward it's still probably not a very good play. Our Chalanon's an okay deck. We see it here, still 6%. Tank Terapagos, I think, actually became like a pretty bad play going into this weekend. Yeah, I think Tank Terapagos became a pretty bad play going into this weekend, and the meta responded, right? I feel like a lot of people kind of realize that. You have a bad Gardevoir matchup is the main one. Like the Gardevoir matchup is just bad. So if Gardevoir's going to become a more popular deck and also be like a pretty successful deck, it makes it hard to want to play Tank Terapagos. And then on top of that, if Gholdengo decks are running a partner, if Gholdengo decks have a partner Pokemon, a Scizor, a Dragapult, a Dudunsparce, even something like any kind of thing that can help you get through the Cornerstone, any kind of thing to help you get through Cornerstone, then that matchup's pretty bad for Tank Terapagos as well. And it's not like the Dragapult matchup is like an auto win. It's still like I'd say you're like slightly favorable, but I'll say like slightly favorable. So yeah, Tank Terapagos down here at 3%. Charizard for some reason at 3%. I don't understand how Zoroark isn't like more popular than Charizard, but I guess it's just not. So the meta is getting pretty narrow. I feel like the meta is narrowing down quite a bit. The beginning of this format, the meta felt really, really wide, for sure. The meta's gotten starting to get pretty narrow, though. I think with that as well, though, and this is what I've said about with rotation happening, there's a lot of decks that still feel pretty good into the top decks, despite the decks not being quite as good. Like the power level of decks across the board isn't as high as it was, like, obviously pre-rotation. So then day 2 meta percentages here. Dragapult lost a little bit. Gholdengo had the gains. Actually, even Raging Bolt went up in meta percentage from day 1 to day 2, 14 to 15. So this is like one of the few times that Raging Bolt converts positively. Usually it loses meta percentage going into day 2. Guardy still around 10. Tera box still where it was. Archaldon. Tank Drapcos did come up a little bit, but not a ton. We did see Joltic box. We can actually take a look at the conversion percentages here. And this thing gets a little bit weird because I guess we do it like a conversion day 1, day 2. You just go day 1 highest here, yeah. So this is how you want to look at it. You want to look at just like the most popular decks, how they converted. Dragapult 12%. Raging Bolt 16, 22% from Gholdengo, 15 from Guardy. Tank Drapcos had like so it had a decent conversion, and also I think yeah, Pikachu did here. Joltic Pikachu, Joltic box, whatever it's called, 44% conversion rate. Obviously the sample size is a little bit smaller, so that's going to be a factor. But I feel like it is one of those decks. This deck was getting a lot of hype, and I don't want to say notoriety. What do I want to say? A lot of people were recognizing this deck and like playing with this deck, trying this deck out pre Monterrey. I still haven't tried this deck out myself personally, but I'll get around to it eventually. But yeah, I had a pretty good conversion here in Monterrey. I wouldn't overly read into that too much, and as oh my gosh, it's like the new best deck. Deck's fine. This deck is like a lot more exploitable. Like Joltic box is a lot more exploitable than something like a Golden or like a Dragapult or a Gardevoir still. So if Joltic box catches too much steam, does a little bit too well, it'll probably get checked. But so far seems like a decent deck, especially from what we've seen. From its results, from seeing what the deck can do, seems like a decent deck. It's kind of its first weekend of major tournament results. We did see it pop up at Champions or City Leagues over in Japan and was doing pretty well over there, but no major tournaments yet. So it's okay. There was one in Top Cut, I believe, as well. But those are all the things to talk about as meta percentage. I guess one deck I'll call out here that I predicted that I thought was like pretty good. I guess I didn't think this deck was like that good of a play, but Flareon Noctowl I thought was a pretty, like, after playing with it finally, Isaac, the deck seems pretty good. One of your problems with Flareon Noctowl though is definitely the Gardevoir matchup. That matchup is tough, but the rest of your matchups are honestly like fine. I feel like Flareon Noctowl has like a fine matchup into like your Dragapult matchup feels favorable. Gholdengo feels favorable. I don't know about the Raging Bolt matchup. It's probably close. I can see it being unfavored, but Gardevoir's like the tough one, I feel like, for Flareon box for sure. What was its conversion? Flareon box, 24%. So it had, like, you know, a decent conversion rate into day 2. I think it's the only thing to, like, that's all to talk about as far as the percentages go. And now we can get into deck lists. And I think for this, we're gonna do okay, I gotta switch over to here. It's a lot easier to do it like this. Deck lists. We're gonna look at the top 64 deck lists. We're gonna go down all the way to number 64. I gotta call it at some point because looking at all 200 lists is just too many. So we'll look at the top 64 deck lists. I think that's what we did last time as well. And then if any of you in chat know of any cool decks outside of the top 64, once we get to number 64, I'll look up a couple different lists if you guys think there's actually something worth looking outside of the top 64. But let's go through the top 64. Brent Tonison, one of the best players in the game. One of the now definitely. Oh, he was already one of the most successful players this season. Now he gets his first major dub of the season, playing a Gardevoir list very similar to what he played at Atlanta. He wasn't playing the Zoroark. He's got Cleffa in here. He's just playing a 4 Iono, 4 Research, no boss, a couple counter catcher. And then has, I think the only change, he made like one change. He also doesn't play Mew EX, which is interesting. There's no Mew EX in here. So the draw power plus powerful attacking option against Dragapult, he doesn't feel is worth the trade-off of the inclusion. So that's interesting. No Mew EX. He did add the Turo from, we can actually take a look at that real fast. What did he me see here. What did he cut? He cut one card. Was it the Drifloon? Drifloon, 3 Vessel. Let's see. I should just like pull both up, to be honest. I'm kind of trolling with this. It wasn't the Drifloon, right? There's no way. No. Counter catcher? Oh, did he play 3? He cut a counter catcher? Oh, so he had 3 counter catcher, went down to 2. Added in the Tera. Okay. The Tera is a little bit interesting in this kind of build because you don't have like continuous draw power like Zoroark. And even the Zoroark build that we saw from Henry Chow to take down Atlanta, Henry played 2 Tera. So not only did Henry have constant draw power in Zoroark in most games, but also had, or even more draw power as well with the Mew EX, but also on top of that, played 2 Turo. So we see Brent here thinks Turo is worth playing in the deck still, just in Gardevoir, still a powerful card. I agree for sure. But yeah, no constant draw power. You know, you're hoping to kind of find it. I mean, you have Secret Box, obviously, but you know, that's not super reliable. Also, if you draw into Secret Box in the early game, you're usually using it most times. But yeah, so values the power of Turo, includes that. Has a Cleffa in here for more aggressive matchups, probably, where you're going to get knocked out anyway, so getting that extra draw power on your side is worth it. Doesn't play Buddy Buddy Poffin, and still plays 0 Buddy Buddy Poffin. 4 Nest Ball, 2 Artisan to find the basics, and then obviously the 4 Ultra Ball value in finding the Curlies and the Gardevoir aggressively. The Nest Balls and Artisan, of course, help you find the Monkey Dories, the Clefairy, the Pheasantipity, even the Screamtail. The Buddy Poffins are definitely way worse now in Gardevoir. Now that we know you don't want to set up like 3 or 4 Ralts in a game. You need like 1 Ralts as long as it can't be threatened, and 2 Ralts if the first Ralts can be threatened, and that's kind of just it. So I don't hate the idea of no Poffin. We've also seen like Poffin cuts in general getting cut back in pretty much every Gardevoir list. No one's really playing 4 Poffin anymore. A lot of people are still playing Poffin. And if you do play the Zorua, playing Poffin definitely makes way more sense, or the Zoroark, I should say, to find the Zorua early alongside the Ralts or the Badoo or whatever. So Poffin makes a lot more sense, has a lot higher value if you are running Zoroark. Definitely loses value if you're not playing the Zoroark for sure. So it's like the other interesting, not inclusion, but exclusion here from Brent. Fernando Cifuentes, world champ, getting 2nd place here with Blissey. And yeah, this is gonna be one of the decks I'm definitely gonna be. Oh, I didn't even know it was a trolley build, bro. Now I'm even more excited to try this deck out. I didn't know there was trolley in here. Now I'm even more excited to play with this deck. I'm a big trolley fan. But yeah, the Blissey here, Turbo Energize Arven build with the Precious Trolley. No TM Evo. I would think, oh no, you kind of need the Turbo Energize though, I guess, right? You kind of need the Turbo Energize in here to establish enough energy early on in the game to actually be able to attack with Blissey over and over. I was like, TM Evo seems pretty good here to get more Blissey EX in play, but you kind of can't afford that because you're not playing the Trumpet. Yeah, there's no Trumpet in here. You got the Blisseys, 4/4 Blissey. You got the Monkey Dories in here. Got a Roaring Moon for big 1-hit KO potential. And then you got the Ogerpon EX in here as well. So you do have a Tera Pokemon, so you could theoretically play Trumpets, but but yeah, Trolley build, Arvens. Nothing too crazy, I feel like, as far as Blissey lists go. Kind of cool to see Blissey up here in general, though. Yeah, definitely cool to see Blissey here in general. Some town stores. Has the Rigid Band in here. Was it reduce the damage you take by 30? Yeah, if it's on a stage 1. So that's kind of your... I mean, it's probably good on Blissey and other reasons, but that's definitely how you combat Pikachu, right? That's going to be your main tool for actually being able to overcome the Pikachu EX and stuff like that. So yeah, pretty sick builds here from Fernando getting there with the Blissey. There's definitely like a question of, is Blissey just a good deck? Might be definitely meta specific, right? Because of like your Raging Bolt matchup is probably not great. Probably don't have a great Raging Bolt matchup. So it definitely is like, depending on the way the meta goes. This is like, Blissey is not like a Gardevoir or a Dragapult where no matter what the meta is, it'll find a way. This deck will definitely struggle in some metas more than others. But right now, it could be pretty good. It definitely could be really pretty good. What about changing this Chansey for Chansey with the prize ability for the 1 more prize chance? Does the HP... I mean, the Lucky Attachment is just really good on this Chansey, though. Lucky Attachment is so good. I don't think so. I don't think so. Can you see what he played against? Yeah, we could take a look at what he played against here, actually. We could do that. Curious. We see here, beat a lot of Dragapults, beat some Gardevoirs, did lose to the Raging Bolt. Like I mentioned, that one's going to be tough. Actually beat 2 Gholdengos. Does the Gholdengo deck just kind of run out of resources to get over Blissey after Blissey after Blissey? Cyclops plus Dragapult is 110, so maybe that's why. It's another reason, yeah. Cornerstone. Oh, you do have, but this is Gholdengo Dragapult, but still, yeah, the Cornerstone's going to give you some time, right? That's going to give you a lot of chance in that matchup for sure. Yeah. Beat a Zoroark in the opening. That makes sense as well, probably. Archaladon dub as well. I mean, it's Poison Archaladon. That's a free dub for any deck. Yeah. Yeah, the Cornerstone's going to be a big deal in that one for sure. Up next, Yurko with the Tera box. A deck that I was not too hype on going into the weekend. I don't think Tera box is that great, to be honest. Yeah, I still don't think Tera box is that great. I'm not surprised to see it do decently, but the deck seems okay still. Moving forward. That seems very, very okay. Monkey can force Dango to use 2 additional energy. Monkey can force Dango to use 2 additional energy. Wait, how? Ooh, Monkey. Also, ball feels like that's a pretty... Yeah, I don't think Blissey's walking away with a dub against Bolt, to be honest. That one seems pretty terrible. Seems pretty terrible. And there's nothing crazy in here as far as I can tell. There's the jamming tower in here. Not everyone plays the jamming tower. I mean, having a way to bump your own area 0 and then clean up damage Pokemon to play is pretty good. But Terrapagos, Cornerstone, usual suspects. There's the one Brock Scouting in here. I guess that's maybe the standout inclusion here. I do find myself often, I do kind of like that. Removing damage counters and Rigid Band. There's no damage counters in play. Gholdengo is a one-hit KO deck. If the deck one-hit KO stuff, that means there's no damage counters in play. Monkey do yeah, it's not how it works. It's not how it works. Monkey Dory is not the answer to everything. Yeah, bro, I do find myself often going Noctowl for Nest Ball, only needing basics. So I do kind of like the Brock Scouting, to be honest. Like sometimes I'm only like, all I need is basic Pokemon here. One Teal Mask honestly seems fine to me. Yeah, I don't hate the one Teal Mask either. I mean, that's all you kind of need is one, right? And you don't have to worry about stuff like, maybe previously you would want 2 Cornerstones. Maybe previously you'd want 2 Cornerstones when like Charizard is like a threat in the meta or something like that, right? Like early on in the meta, like Charizard and stuff was like more of a threat. So you want to be able to like bench double Cornerstone, start to build both of them up so they can't just counter catch or KO one of them with the Charizard. But now that like, well, I mean, there's no Charizard. Wasn't there like another Pokemon that was like weak to grass? Not that I can think of. Mamoswine, but that's like not now we know like that's not a thing to be worried about. So yeah, one Teal Mask honestly seems fine overall. You have to hope to not prize it, I guess. Zoroark, yeah, Zoroark's like less of a threat in the meta than it was at the beginning. Yeah. Caleb Rogers in here, another top 8 this season. It's like his 3rd or 4th top 8. Usually 24 months there, Killer Cam. Yeah, it's like his 3rd or 4th top 8, I think, this season. Did take the Gholdengo Dragapult, and actually the most successful build of Gholdengo was Gholdengo Dragapult. A build that I personally was not the most hype on for Gholdengo. I'm still not convinced this is the best way to play Gholdengo. This is an interesting take on the deck, though. I will say that for sure from Rogerson, and I think was it the same 60 that was played by Grant Shen? I think so, right? Yeah, so Grant Shen played the same 60, and I think there was another player or two who played the exact same 60 as these 2 players. But you got the Dragapult line in here, so you get a little bit of extra draw engine from the Dracloak, and it feels like that's how they're mostly utilizing it in here. Got the Gholdengo, got the extra draw engine there from the Dracloak. Then you do have the one Dragapult EX, so you have the extra draw engine from the Dracloak, which is nice. And then you have the Dragapult EX. You have the Dragapult EX in here as well, but they don't play any Crispin, so you can still use it as an alternate attacker. You can still play it as an alternate attacker, but you don't have like the aggressive way to set it up with the Crispin. So valuing the more powerful supporters that synergize better with Gholdengo instead. Cypher Maniac still in here. I have a count of 3, 4 Arvins obviously, and just being like, if I need Dragapult, I'll attach to it twice, right? If I need Dragapult at some point, I'll just attach to it twice to get through the Cornerstone or whatever else you might need it for. Or if you can build it up alongside a Gholdengo, you know, if the Gholdengo survives a turn or 2. No Baby Dango either. Yeah, no Baby Dango. I'm a big Baby Dango fan. It's definitely, Baby Dango is worse in this deck because you can use Dragapult as a 1 prize attacker, although without Crispin, it's basically, I mean, there's like not, this build is way worse versus Noctowl decks. Noctowl decks were worse going into this tournament, though, I think, just kind of across the board, though. Besides maybe Raging Bolt. Raging Bolt is maybe just as good as it was in Atlanta as this tournament, but that shouldn't affect Gholdengo's matchup too much. But I feel like the Tera box and Tank Terrapagos definitely become way worse into this weekend. Is Grafaiai just not worth it? No, the card is like, it's like the card's just bad. It's like the Grafaiai. The only thing Grafaiai does is KO Cornerstone, but it's not good against. It's not good to do anything else. Only one Psychic and Fire too. Yeah, only one Psychic and Fire as well. So it's like the minimum you can play and then still be able to attack with a Dragapult EX. One Dragapult EX, one Fire, one Psychic, no Crispin, and then Dracloak is just nice in there to have like as extra draw support. Extra draw support with Gholdengo is just really, really good. Now you get the added bonus of being able to play the Dragapult EX in there alongside as like an alternate attacker, but investing literally the minimum into the deck to get that thing set up. And then you got the Pheasantipity EX in here as well. Draw Power Monkey Dory, obviously. And there's the Genesect in here. They did play the Genesect, which is really, really good against Dragapult to stop the unfair stamp. And it's also really good in Mirror to take away the opposing Gholdengo player's Energy Search Pro. So you can be more aggressive with your Gholdengo, and then your opponent just can't respond to get the return 2 prize knockout, even if you just took a 1 prize knockout, because you took away their Energy Search Pro. So the Genesect is a pretty sneaky, a pretty cool inclusion, a pretty sneaky inclusion here for Mirror Match and Dragapult, because then you also just can't get unfair stamped, which is really, really nice. Is it okay to play Dragapult with 4 Ion and 4 Research instead of 2 Arv and 2 Research? Asking if something is okay in the PokemonTCG doesn't really exist. We're only concerned with what is optimal. If you're asking me what I think is best, I don't know. But yeah, if you're asking me what is best, I don't know. But the way you should be thinking about it is like, it's either correct to play 4 Iona, 4 Research, or it's correct to play 2 Arv and 2 Research, 4 Iona. 11 energy, I don't know. I'm so used to 12 energy now. I think 11 is fine. I'm actually surprised that people were like playing 12 to begin with. Because honestly, once I went down to 11, I'm like, oh, this is fine. You don't really need... It doesn't feel like you need 12. It doesn't feel like 12 adds like a ton to the deck or anything like that. Yo, appreciate the 9 months there, Fammy. The only thing you'd maybe want to... The only reason to like play 12 would be if you're trying to increase your odds of not prizing an energy for some of your like attacks. So like playing 2 Fire, 2 Psychic in this build with Dragapult would make sense. But also playing 11 doesn't seem bad either. If you're really trying to mitigate your... if you're trying to mitigate your prizing variable, then like going up to like a second Fire, second Psychic doesn't seem bad, but is it worth the spot is the question. Yeah, standard as far as the supporters as go, like I said. And like I said, with the lack of Crispins in here, you have more space to play Cypher Maniac. So there's either 3 Cypher Maniac, 2 Boss, Turo, Iono. Only 1 Nest Ball. Chose to play an Artisan for a Stadium. No Super Rod, just 2 Night Stretcher, Double TM Evo, Counter Catcher. Did play the Vengeful Punch in here as well, which I think was probably pretty good going to this weekend. I mean, Tera Box wasn't going to be completely dead. And then there was some hype around the Joltic Pikachu deck, so just like having an answer for Pikachu. Also, if you're going to play the Genesect, you kind of need to play a tool card that you can put on the Genesect and have it stick on the Genesect for multiple turns. So Vengeful Punch just kind of makes sense to running here. I guess you could have played the Rocky Helmet instead. I don't know which one is exactly better, but you need some tool card to put on your Genesect. Could have played a Rescue Board, but may as well play like something that answers Pikachu as well as something that you can put on the Genesect. Because up against, I mean, I guess like... You kind of want to put a Vengeful Punch on the... Like, taking away Crystal against Tera Box specifically is kind of cool, but it's probably not that big of a deal. But, like, up against Dragapult and... Up against Dragapult and the other deck that I was mentioning, Mirror Match, the Vengeful Punch doesn't need to be on your Gholdengo in either of those matchups, so... Did choose to play Stadium of the Artisan, didn't play the Jamming Tower. Although someone did mention... I forget who it was on Twitter. Someone, like... I think retweeted or commented on Davidson's post is like, you could play Jamming Tower and you put Jamming Tower in play and then you can put TM Evo on your Genesect and then the TM Evo doesn't get discarded, but it still triggers the Ace Nullifier Genesect ability. So you can like put Jamming Tower in play, attach TM Evo to Genesect. The TM Evo gets stuck on the Genesect, it doesn't discard itself, and then you take away their Ace spec, which is kind of cool. And then you don't, like if you prize your Vengeful Punch, you still have a way to use Genesect. And Jamming Tower did seem kind of good in Gholdengo going to the weekend as well, to be honest, but... Is it cringe to write down your prize at locals? No, it's a good place to practice it. What's your win Genesect tool in the stadium that turns off tools? Genesect just needs a tool card attached to it. It doesn't matter if the tool card doesn't do anything. And then, yeah, 11 energy count here. Like I mentioned, just a 1 Psychic, 1 Fire. So prize variables are a little bit higher with this build as well because of the lack of those energies for the Dragapult. If you had to play Gholdengo, would you play with Pult or Plane? Probably Plane. I'm not that blown away by Pult currently, but and this is the same 60 here as well from Grant, so just go past that one. Eder here, play Dragapult. That's cool. All right, Tyler Matthews here did play the Pikachu box. Did play the Joltic box. I don't know what we want to call it. I don't know what we want to call it here. Joltic box, Pikachu box. Cool deck for sure. Cool deck for sure. So we're using the Joltic. For anyone who doesn't know how this deck works, you just use Joltic and it's Jolting, Charge, Attack. You get 2 basic Grass and 2 basic Lightning cards from your deck and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. So you accelerate 4 energy. You choose second. You Joltic, put 4 energy in play. You set up an Iron Hands. You set up 2 Pikachus. You can put a Grass and a Lightning on one Pikachu, a Grass and a Lightning on another Pikachu, and then attach Metal for turn attack. The deck plays 4 Crispin for follow-up energy acceleration. So those are your main attackers are Pikachu in your Raging Bolt matchup, in your what other big matchups is Pikachu? Raging Bolts. I'm like blanking here. Gholdengo, stuff like that, you're using Pikachu. In other matchups, you're using Iron up against Gardevoir, up against what do you say, Dragapult? Not Dragapult. Raging Bolt, yeah. Against Dragapult, against against Gardevoir, you're using Iron Hands. And this deck actually doesn't have a way to one-hit KO a Dragapult. We see Tyler does not play the stadium, which I feel like makes sense because it'd be really hard to like find the stadium when you need it, I feel like. So it kind of makes sense to not play the stadium. Clefairy? Oh, you have Clefairy. You have Clefairy to want to KO Dragapult. So we can't use Pikachu, but we can use Clefairy. We have 4 Crispin. We'll make it work. Then you also have the Ursaluna in here as a late game attacker. The draw power, obviously, Fez, Mew, Latios for the pivot. The Maractus in here is interesting. I'm not exactly sure what the Maractus is for. I'm sure there's like a matchup or a scenario where this might be just auto wins certain situations or matchups or something, or just like buys you time, maybe. So I actually don't know what the Maractus is in here for. I'm sure there's like a matchup you just auto win because of it, and that's why it's in here. I don't know what it would be, but yeah. So I don't really have too much to say on the Maractus inclusion, but I'm sure it does something where it just wins. He said it's good for Bolt, Maractus versus Raging Bolt. Don't you just kind of win that matchup anyways because of Pikachu? Oh, I guess Slithering gets involved, and then maybe it is just a bad matchup. That makes sense. They don't play very heavy switch count. Okay, that could be cool. And there's Iron Leaves in here as well, which is kind of just, I guess, kind of a cool neutral attacker. Obviously, really good against Charizard, but I don't know if we're teching for Charizard right now, but like neutrally, it's an okay attacker, I guess. How much does it hit for again? 180? I mean, it KOs Mew. It doesn't seem terrible to include. You have the energy for it. Where's the Heavy Baton? The Heavy Baton just never really lines up because of the decks that you use Iron Hands against. They're able to KO your Iron Hands without ever triggering Heavy Baton. Like Gardevoir and Dragapult won't trigger your Heavy Baton, and those are the main matchups where you use Iron Hands. Other matchups where you use Iron Hands, I think it's less relevant. I guess like Iron Hands, it could still be good. It's definitely like less relevant as well, though. Iron Leaves gets you out of a retreat lock. That is true. It does break you out of retreat lock. Yeah. Yeah. Baton is just like Baton is just not that good. Instead, we see double Bravery Charm here. So you're just like putting Bravery Charms on your Iron Hands. Bravery Charm is probably also just good against Dragapult in general to like play around their like 4 prize or 6 prize turn. A little bit of extra HP. Appreciate 23 months there, Doom. So that's cool. This is definitely a deck I plan on trying. Honestly, we might just try Tyler's list. Probably not today. Maybe tomorrow though. Prime Catcher in here. I did think about, what was the ace spec that I thought about in here? I forget the ace spec that I thought about in here, but honestly, it might have been Unfair Stamp. I'm just kind of obsessed with Unfair Stamp. But Prime Catcher obviously makes a ton of sense. Really aggressive deck. And honestly, Prime Catcher plus Iron Hands is just really, really good. Iron Hands with the Prime Catcher is just really, really good. Trolley is good. In here, Trolley is terrible in here. Pack it up. Yeah, Prime Catcher with Iron Hands is just really... Like, if you're going to play Iron Hands in the current meta, the format, like, you probably want Prime Catcher. Because it's kind of how you beat Dragapult is Prime Catcher plus Iron Hands for any Iron Hands deck. All right. Cool deck. Tanner Hurley here. Ran it back with the Dragapult No Nor. We do see some changes here. Let's take a look at... Let's pull those lists up side by side. Because I think it's actually a cool thing we can do for sure. Actually, no, I can use the other tab there. Let's take a look at what Tanner chose to run differently. Oh, wait, I gotta go to the other tournament, excuse me. Tournaments, Atlanta, Tanner. So cut some Arvin. Let's see what else is in here. Cut back on the Nest Balls by 1. Includes a Bravery Charm and the Luxurious Cape. EXP are still in here. Energy Search still. Cut back on the Arvins by 1. Added to Jack. increase the boss count to 3. I would have liked to have really seen. I feel like I talked about this, I think, in my Metafy group. I think Iron Bundle is really, really good in Dragapult to break the Badoo wars in Mirror Match and the Gardevoir matchup if you play Artisan. And even if you don't play Artisan, there is an argument to still play Iron Bundle because up against Gardevoir specifically, they play Artisan. So there's like an argument to include Iron Bundle. But if you're going to play 2 Artisan, I feel like you should have an Iron Bundle in here, like 100%. Because to break the Badoo wars in Mirror Match and the Gardevoir matchup, I feel like Iron Bundle is just so broken. Now, finding it is the question. We do see that Tanner did play towards that by including the 3rd boss. So Tanner played more boss, so you can boss around the Badoo. Maybe that's not the only reason he played it, but that becomes one of the things that like the 3rd boss is really good at, is getting around the Badoo. So down 1 boss out of bundle. I don't know if I would cut a Gust card. I still like the idea of 5 Gust cards. I don't know if I'd cut a Gust card for the Iron Bundle, but if you're going to be playing Artisan, Iron Bundle just seems kind of like a no-brainer to me. If you're not playing Artisan, like if you look at the Hedrick list, like I don't think you'd play Iron Bundle in this build here from Hedrick, because you have no way to find the Iron Bundle if you're getting item locked. You'd probably just rather play another boss. But if you're playing, there's still like an argument for it though, because one of the matchups that you're going to be Badoo warring against is Gardevoir, and Gardevoir plays Artisan, so is it better to play a 3rd boss or an Iron Bundle at that point? Probably the Iron Bundle if you're like really trying to hone in on the Gardevoir matchup. But I feel like if you're looking at the Mirror Match and the Gardevoir matchup at that point, and you're playing 2 Artisan, I feel like Iron Bundle's a no-brainer at that point, to be honest. But yeah, yeah, we do see some adjustments here from. Take a look if there's anything else to like noteworthy to look at here from the adjustments from what Tanner played last week. Back-to-back top 8s as well, though. I mean, that's worth recognizing there for Tanner as well. Back-to-back top 8s, 2 weekends in a row. Just made some adjustments to the list. No Defiance Ban was another one that someone called out in chat. The Pokemon lineup. Also, oh no, kept the Genesect. Pokemon lineup is basically the same. I'd use the Trainer Hill tool for this next time. Cut a Nest Ball. Yeah, so really just getting the Jackson there is like the big adjustment there for sure. Victor here with the Raging Bolt. It's just Owl Bolt, nothing crazy. I do think the one like opinion I had on Raging Bolt is like you need to play more good late game cards. I think Raging Bolt just needed more good late game cards, and we see like this build here from Victor has the Mew EX. I like highlighted all of Blitzel's build. I think most recently I was like I like the Ursaluna, I like the Mew EX. We don't see the Ursaluna in this build here from Victor, but also has the Glass Trumpet, which can be a good way. I kind of hated on Glass Trumpet when people had asked me about it in the past, but the more I played with Raging Bolt, the more I've come around on something like Glass Trumpet, because you just need more cards that in the mid game help set you up for the late game, and Glass Trumpet can just get more energy in play. So that way, when you get to the late game, you need less cards to get your last KO with a Raging Bolt. And Ursaluna obviously does that because it just has a low energy attack. But Glass Trumpet can help you, before you get Ionoed, use your Glass Trumpet, get some extra energy in play, or after you get Ionoed, it's like another piece you could draw into to aggressively accelerate energy into play to close out the game. So the Glass Trumpet's interesting. I don't know if I like it more than the Ursaluna. I really like the idea of the Ursaluna. And I also like the idea of the Mew EX. You see the Mew EX is in here in this build. But no what's it called? No Ursaluna. It does have the E-Switch in here as well. All right. Next we got Raul with the Moon Dudunsparce deck. Dude, this deck, the first time this deck ever popped up was UIC last season. I think, right? UIC last season. I don't know. I'm going to play with this deck today because I'm curious to see how it feels. Honestly, that was the deck that Dudunsparce has felt the best in ever. Like, that was the best Dudunsparce deck ever. In my opinion, the best Dudunsparce deck ever by far. Not even close. And it did okay at EYC. It got like top cut at EYC. Orlando 2, it got 6. Okay, it got 6th at Orlando. I thought the deck was actually just bad, to be honest. I don't think that deck was good. The Moon Dudunsparce the last time it was played, I think that deck was actually just bad, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. Right now, who knows? Gotta play with it. Give it a chance. Yeah, the A-Spec is the neutralization zone. So you can play down to just like a 1 prize board state and throw that in play. And if they don't have an answer for it, you just Roaring Moon them over and over again. It's kind of interesting to see the neutralization zone without having something like Iono or something in here to like disrupt their hand. But I don't know. Gonna give it a shot. See how it goes. It was way better with Dark Patch. Well, yeah, obviously the deck itself was better with Dark Patch, but it's like, how does it compare to the this format, this metagame, how does it compare? That's like the question. Is like, how does it compare now in this format, this meta? Every deck was better last format. Every deck was a better deck, but was it a better play? Was it a better deck to bring to a tournament? I don't know. Ross here did also choose to play Gholdengo Dragapult, and we see Ross playing, I would say, like a more I don't know, traditional list. Honestly, this list is really close to the list that Grant played, I feel like. The double Crispin, -1 extra energy here. Just the one Dragapult, Vengeful Punch. Is this actually like the exact same 60 that Grant played? I actually want to, let's take a look at that as well. I'm actually kind of curious if it is actually the exact same 60 that Grant played to Atlanta, except a different energy type switch. It's like the homework meme. It's effectively the same 60. It's just the energy change difference. That's funny, yeah. It's literally the homework meme. You can copy my homework, just make sure it's not obvious. And Ross was like, all right, I'll cut the grass energy and I'll add a, what is it, lightning fighting? What is it? Cut the grass out of something? A water? Ross couldn't be caught. Ross was not going to get caught being dehydrated during the tournament. Adds the water energy back in. We do see another Gholdengo deck here. Not far away. This is the first Gholdengo deck that doesn't have Dragapult in it, actually. The first Gholdengo deck that doesn't have Dragapult. And this one actually has, you got the Baby Dango, you got the 1/1 Caesar in here. That's actually something I had played against recently, and I actually talked about recently. I like the idea of the 1/1 Caesar on Gholdengo right now. Moving forward, I don't know how good it is. I think the 1/1 Caesar is like really good against stuff like Raging Bolt specifically. Not that you'd like need more. Like that matchup already feels fine, so it's not like you need more for that matchup. But another thing I like with the 1/1 Caesar, I will mention that isn't played here. I like 2 Iono. If you're gonna play the 1/1 Caesar, I like second Iono because it allows you to like aggressively play as a 1 prize deck for like a couple turns in the mid game. So you can go like Iono, send up 1 prize, or Iono, send up 1 prize, or whatever. Obviously you can't do that if you only play 1 Iono though. So that's one thing I'll mention about, like, I do like the 1/1 Caesar line alongside the 1 Baby Gholdengo because it allows you to be like 1 prize or 1 prize or 1 prizer. But I do like 2 Iono with it, so you can actually like double Iono them 2 turns in a row or something like that. Plays the Jamming Tower. Got the Iron Bundle, the Counter Catcher, double Boss's Orders. More standard energy lineup. Actually is playing the 12 basic energy, which I'm not a big fan of, to be honest. I don't really like. I think you can get away. I think 11 is, not that you can get away with 11. 11 is just like, just fine. You just don't need 12 basic energy. 11 is like more than fine, I feel like. Can you explain what makes Dudunsparce bad? It's just not very resource efficient. It's just not good. It's just not very resource efficient. You compare it to any other draw engine in the game right now, Revavroom. Obviously, Revavroom is a little bit different because Revavroom requires you to have excess energy to discard turn to turn to actually take advantage of it. But if your deck can do that, it's way better. Zoroark's just better than Dudunsparce. Like, there's nothing about Dudunsparce that's good. Like, it's just bad. You're setting up a stage 1 Pokemon to draw 3 cards and then shuffle the thing back in the deck. And then you have to, if you want to use it again, you got to get him back, put him in play. Like, it's just so resource intensive. It's just so resource intensive. Now, if there was like no other options, then some that would be the best thing to include in some decks. But honestly, most decks just probably wouldn't play it optimally. Like, most decks just would be like, I'd rather just play more draw supporters than play Dudunsparce. And most decks are probably better just playing more draw supporters than playing Dudunsparce. Like, we saw people try and fit Dudunsparce in Gardevoir, and we saw the Zoroark build is definitely way better than the Dudunsparce build. But then you just have Brent Tonison being like, I mean, technically you could put Dudunsparce in here, but why would you? Because it just makes your deck worse. Because it's just not efficient. For what it does, it's just not resource efficient at all. You have to work so hard to get it into play to just put his ass back in the deck. And it's like, all right, we're going to go get him again? Like, so resource inefficient. The only reason to play it is if for some reason you really, like, Dudunsparce EX is just broken in the meta. It's just so insanely powerful. Like, Dudunsparce EX is the catalyst for sure. Like, that's the catalyst for it to be worth playing in the meta. It's like, oh my gosh, Dudunsparce EX is insane right now. So then it's like, all right, well, you may as well play the draw engine part of the deck as well, right? All right, we got Andre here with Radiant Bolt, now Owls again, once again. Nothing crazy. E-Switch Iono. No Mew or Ursaluna. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of that. I think you need more cards for the late game. Going up against these Gardevoir decks and these Dragapult decks that are going to be Iono spamming you, you need a really efficient attacker to close things out. You need a really efficient attacker to close things out. You need the Ursaluna, or you just need Mew, extra draw power in play. For sure. What would you cut for bundle in here? I don't know. I don't even know what deck you're talking about. Raging Bolts aren't respecting Pikachu anymore. Oh, that's a good shout out right there. Yeah, no Slitherwing. I don't like that. I think that's incorrect. I think Pikachu is still Yeah, this build as well. That's a good point out there. Yeah, Koraidons. We see Koraidons over Slitherwings. Which you'd rather play Koraidon because it's a little bit less... I don't know, just a better one-prize attacker, I think, overall. I mean, the card's not great, but it's better than Slitherwing. But Slitherwing is specifically good right now because of Pikachu. I think Pikachu is still big enough where you want Slitherwing, though. With the Joltic deck will probably be gaining more and more steam moving forward, unless it gets checked in the meta, which I don't think it really has yet. So I think people should be playing Slitherwing for sure. You definitely should be playing Slitherwing. Koraidon is maybe the correct thing to play when Pikachu phases out. And then, because you can still play a pretty aggressive one prize. You can go down like the 1-1-1 prize line with this kind of build still. Like Raging Bolt into Koraidon, or Raging Bolt into Koraidon into a Fan Rotom. Like you can go like the 1-1-1, but you definitely should be playing Slitherwing over Koraidon right now. Koraidon is good into exactly Tank Terapagos. That is true. Actually, that is fair, maybe. But yeah, Tank Terapagos is definitely not that good of a deck right now. I guess maybe there's an argument to have played Koraidon last week, but this week definitely Slitherwing was the better of the two choices. And moving forward, Tank Terapagos is not going to rise in popularity, so you definitely want Slitherwing moving forward. But even for this week for Monterrey, Tank Terapagos did show up pretty big at Atlanta, but it was pretty predictable that it was going to come down in popularity because the meta was not looking good for it moving forward, or at least it wouldn't be successful. Diego here, world champ, two world champs in top 16. Playing Dragapult, no Nor. Nothing crazy. The unfair stamp. Did have the Genesect in here. Brought one Brock Scout and one Jack. So playing some of those Pokemon Search supporters. We're seeing those still stick around, obviously. One Artisan, so not super heavy on the Artisan. Only two Boss. If you've seen it, do you think Brent's Gardevoir should go second? Yeah, you want to go second with Gardevoir or Dragapult. Maybe not every matchup, but yeah, go second. One more thing I was going to say about this list. Oh, I feel like higher count of Boss or Iron Bundle is essential in Dragapult. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it a little bit, but like, I don't know. You're going to have to go through mirror matches and Gardevoir and stuff like that. I don't know. You just don't want to punch their Bidoof. Punching their Bidoof is just so bad. Got to get around that guy. Another list here from Jonathan. Vasquez. Dragapult, no Nor. Or Arvin. Actually, is this literally just... This is actually just the 60 that Tanner played at Atlanta. So did not make any upgrades or changes. Definitely needs them, right? We even saw Tanner make the changes, add the Jack, stuff like that. So this is kind of just like an outdated build here from Jonathan, to be honest. Matthias here with the Gardevoir. Pretty similar. Not... I wouldn't say it's that far off. It's not exactly what Brent played, but it's like not that far off, right? Only 2 Monkey Dory, 3 Dark still. Playing some Arvins, no Turo, 2 Counter Catchers still playing Secret Box, 2 Artisan, only 2 Bravery Charm. 2 Badoo, doesn't play the Cleffa. I'm actually not sure what matchups the Cleffa is good in. Screamtail, Drifloon. Yeah, another no Zoroark build, nothing crazy. I don't know if I would say this is better or worse than Brent's, but... Why does Slitherwing counter Pikachu? Because if you 1-hit KO Pikachu, its ability triggers, which says it has 10 HP left. But if you 1-hit KO Pikachu with Slitherwing, then it also becomes burned. The ability triggers, it has 10 HP left, and then in between turns, it dies to burn damage. Burn damage doesn't happen when you do damage, it happens in between turns. So its ability is already triggered, it's got 1 HP remaining, burn knocks it out. Appreciate the 14 months there, Mitch. Nor's already dead before Psyduck release. Maybe. And honestly, it feels like that happens a decent amount of the time, where it's like a new counter card is about to drop, and then the card becomes just the meta naturally relegates the card before the counter even drops. But I think Dragapult Dusknoir is still pretty good. Like, yeah, the deck is still pretty good. The top 5 decks usually stay the same during expansion. It just depends. It's not, yeah. It just changes. Depends on the deck. Depends on the set. Depends on what comes out of it. I was 3 Luminous possibly good because it gives you it allows you to set up your Monkey Dory but still utilize them for Dragapult as well. And if you think about it, if you slow down, I did have to slow down and think about it as well. If you attach a Luminous energy to Dragapult, you have 4 energy outs that allow your Dragapult to attack. But if you look at a Dusknoir build of Dragapult, if you attach a Psychic or a Fire, you only have 3. The Luminous, for the count that it is, alongside the basic energy count that it is, you actually have a higher chance of getting back-to-back attachments on a Dragapult and attacking with the Dragapult in this build of Dragapult than Dusknoir Dragapult. I know why Luminous is good, just how is 3 good? I mean, how is 2 good? How is 1 good? How is 4 good? How is 0 good? It's just like a pointless question. If you're not proving anything else, then why ask? Then that question doesn't matter if you don't have a proof of something else. How is 3 good? Because with 2, you know, yada yada yada. If you're not proving something else, then the question is pointless. I really like that energy lineup. I think energy search over a vessel is egregious. I agree, Grant. I just don't get why there's an energy search in here instead of a vessel. It just doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense. You can always find a card to discard, and in a lot of situations, you want to be able to discard a card and thin out a bad card. I don't know, there is 4 Ultra Ball in the deck, so maybe I could see it, maybe. But I feel like every time I watch this deck play out and they use energy search, it's like, yeah, you could have got away with an energy search there for sure. Appreciate the 4 months there, Geese. All right, Aiden Koos, Dragapult, Dusknoir, and is this just the Hedrick 60? Braver Charm over the Luxurious Cape. Braver Charm over the Luxurious Cape, but this is pretty close to the Hedrick 60, right? This actually might just be it besides that change. 2 Duskull, 2 Dusclops, 1 Dusknoir. Yeah. Sorry, right? What if you draw into multiple Luminous instead of drawing into basics that Luminous works with? 3 seems like that would happen a lot. I mean, okay, that could happen, Zeki. But we're just doing it based on, like, what are the odds that we can set up a Dragapult? We're just trying to set up a Dragapult to attack with. And like I said, if you compare this to Dragapult Dusknoir lists, where they only play 3/3 energy, this list's energy lineup has a higher chance of setting up a Dragapult with 2 energy on it. So we could just take that. This seems to work fine. Just 3/3, no EXP share, no Crispin. This works good. So if we increase our odds, then this has to be fine. Just based on that, right? So we don't even have to think too hard about this. We either have to assume there's a flaw with this, or this is just fine, right? So the first thing we'd have to do, if we think there's a flaw with this energy lineup, then we have to assume there's a flaw with this energy lineup, basically. But if we think this is fine, and this is fine, then this also has to be fine. Because once you attach a Luminous energy, you have 4 energy outs, right? But once you attach a Psychic energy, you have 3 energy outs of just 3 fires. So, I mean, that's how I think about these things, right? If I think this is fine, then I have to assume this is fine. It doesn't mean you need 3 Luminous. You could play 2 Luminous, 2 Psychic, 2 Fire. Like, you could do that. Like, it doesn't mean you need 3 Luminous. But, like, your diagnosis of the situation was like, why would you play 3 Luminous? Doesn't that increase the odds of drawing to, like, back-to-back Luminous? It does. But if we're assuming that's a problem, then this is a problem. That's how I think about it. I don't think this is a problem, so I just don't even think about the other variables. I just don't even think about this because I think this is fine. Okay. Jose here with Tera box. Nothing crazy. Vanilla Tera box. Seems good. I will actually mention 2 things that I did like from Yurko's list, I feel like, when looking at it. And I haven't actually played with Tera Box at all this format, so I don't have, like, too strong of an opinion. 2 Luminous, 1 Dark. I mean, you could grind it, start testing it, figure it out. Seems fine. 4 Crispin and the Super Rod. Those are the only thing. That's one thing I'll mention about this. Like, there's nothing too crazy going on in this build. Jamming Tower is interesting. Got the Brox in there. But they have 4 Crispin and a Super Rod. Like, the deck is a Crispin deck, so kind of makes sense, to be honest. It just kind of makes sense. We're onto this list from Jose in comparison, you know, 3 Crispin, 2 Nitrogen, no Super Rod. Muhammad here did play the Henry 60. Is there anything different? 2 Jack over the second Morty. I think I saw someone on Twitter talking about that. Is that something that, like, Henry said that he would change? I don't even know. But yeah, Zoroark already here. Nothing crazy. Carlos here with Gholdengo Dragapult. What? Dude, what? Why? Dude, this guy doesn't even have Dudunsparce EX. I don't want to see it. I'm done. How are you going to... Dude, all right. How are you going to play Dudunsparce and then not even play the Dudunsparce EX? Like, you're literally... Like, what is the point? I don't want to. I'm just done, bro. There's no way. You should be banned for that. All right, Michael Davidson here. I think just playing the exact same 60 that we saw in Top Cut. Yeah, exact same list we saw in Top Cut. Ethan Hagee. For some reason, Ethan Zarua, like, left the pack here. Wait, and I'm just, like, curious. What is it? Yeah, for some Why is that? Yeah, why is that? For some reason, Ethan Zorua has beef with the Zoroark here and has separated itself a monkey Dory's width away for some reason. Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm not sure why Zorua is straight away from the pack, but he's not about that life. But same 60 with that change, actually, we just saw up here. Oh, right here. Second Jack over the Morty. And for some reason, I feel like I saw that like mentioned on Twitter or something. Why is it a 1-2 line? You have more outs to find your Zorua than you do your Zoroark. That's basically it. And you're trying to minimize the inclusion of the Zoroark line. You're never setting up multiple Zoroarks. Even if you played a 2-2 Zoroark, you'd probably almost never set up a 2-2 Zoroark in play. So due to the fact that we're only ever setting up a 1-1 Zoroark and we don't want to commit any more space to the Zoroark line, even though playing a 2-2 Zoroark would mitigate the prize factors, we're only trying to mitigate it to a certain point. And 2 Zoroark is better than 2 Zorua because we have way more outs to Zorua than we do Zoroark. Also under item lock, like we're gonna have like that one turn of like Buddy Poffin to find Zorua, but under item lock it's way easier to find the Zoroark, obviously. Don't want to start Zorua either, probably. No, starting Zorua's fine. Starting Zorua's like opening at Ralt. You just retreat to Badoo and use Badoo. It's like the same thing. You're never actually playing the second Zoroark. Got it, thanks. Yeah, exactly. It's just there to mitigate the prize factor a little bit. Yeah, the extra Zoroark or extra Zoroark is gonna help us mitigate the prize factor. But one of them is way easier for us to find. Artisans, Buddy Poffins, and S-Balls. And, yeah. Marco Cifuentes here. Gardevoir. Nothing crazy. Is playing... yeah, everyone's on the secret box at this point. It looks like the Gravity Gemstone. That's a cool inclusion. Has the Flutter Mane in here. No Drifloon. I don't like that. I think Drifloon's pretty good right now with Gholdengo being so popular. Like, at the beginning of the meta, I wasn't, like, sold on Drifloon. It's like, it seems like you can get away without Drifloon. But Drifloon seems too good right now, to be honest. Drifloon seems too good right now. I'm not a huge fan of that from Marco here. With the Flutter Mane. I'm not saying, like, Flutter Mane's bad. But honestly, I can't even think of where Flutter Mane's that good. I'm sure it has situations. I can't think of them off the top of my head. He's rocking the one of Cycling Road. And we find it with Secret Box. Helps you cycle your energy a little bit. I guess one thing with the lack of Drifloon, you get to cut down on your energy by 1. But is that even, like, really that big of a deal? Probably not. So honestly, I'm just not that big of a fan of this list from Marco. Like, I don't hate the Cycling Road. I don't like the lack of Drifloon. Flutter Mane seems fine. Gemstone is kind of cool as well. I don't dislike Gemstone. But the biggest thing is just like the lack. Also, it's the Cleffa in here. Also, the biggest thing, actually, the biggest thing is honestly just the lack of Drifloon. But that's like big enough for me, I feel like, right now. I feel like Drifloon is probably... There's too many matches where it's too good right now, it feels like. But still fun. Still Gardevoir. No Mew as well. So pretty... Actually, seems kind of similar... Maybe slightly inspired from... No, we still have the Poffins in here. I was going to say maybe slightly inspired from... No Nest Balls from Brent's build. But nah, this is pretty different from Brent's build, actually. The more I look at it, the more different it is, to be honest. But I mean, you can stick Latias in the active. That's true. That's a cool cheese play. That's a cool cheese play for sure. I like that. Give you another comeback out. I don't think at the... It's not worth it at the... Oh, so, I mean, I guess that's maybe what we see here at... This is like from Marco here. I guess maybe that's the kind of build that Marco's going for. It's kind of like a trap the active build, right? Trap Latias with Flutter Mane, Screamtail plus Gemstone, trap other stuff. You can even do Flutter Mane plus Gemstone, trap Latias. All right, so we're going for a little bit more of like a cheese retreat trap style of Gardevoir. Also, it does have the 3 counter catcher in here to go with that as well. So that's kind of cool. You can trap a Guardia as well. That's true. Yeah, you can trap a Guardia with Flutter Mane. All right, that's pretty chill. I think I would still like to see Drifloon in here, but besides that, I guess I'm coming around on the build a little bit more. Same 60 here, looks like. Blissey, we already talked about it though, but yeah. Fernandez got second. Benny Billinger here with Dragapult, Gholdengo. It looks like the exact same 60 that everyone was running. Basically, is there anything different? I'm not even gonna dig that deep. I'm just gonna assume it's the same 60. David with a straightforward Gholdengo. Very similar to the list that we saw Bodie, I believe, Bodie Robinson get top cut in Atlanta with. The only difference is including that Rocky helmet to have an answer for Pikachu. So just adding the Pikachu answer there. I'm not sure what the cut was, but it looks like Super Rod actually was the cut from the Bodie list. Yeah, but very similar to that list. If that's, I'm not saying for sure that they copied them, but that's what I'm drawing from. Do you think Laventia should be played more? Nope, I think it should be played if it's correct to play it. I don't really think about the game, like, you shouldn't think about the game in terms of, like, should something be played? Well, okay, it's not bad to think about it like that, but, it's, like, saying something like that is, like, way too broad. Should Laventia be played more? if it's good in a deck, then it should be played in the deck that it's good in. If it's correct to play it in a deck, then it should be correct to play that. Saying something like, do you think Drifloon is correct in Guardy? Like that, I can work with that question because you're giving me a way more narrow in Gholdengo. Okay, all right, well, you didn't say Gholdengo. Should Levencia be playing more in Gholdengo? Should Levencia be played in Gholdengo? No, I don't think it needs to be. I think in the Reverum build, it makes sense. The Zoroark build has a little bit of more synergy as well, but besides those two builds, it's not necessary at all. If more hand disruption if for some reason there was more hand disruption in the format, there'd be a higher reason to maybe include it more, but it doesn't really add, it's not a big game changer for Gholdengo right now, I don't think. I think you should try and fit more draw power in Gholdengo than you should try and fit stuff like Levencia, although Levencia wouldn't be a bad thing to include, especially if stadium counts go down in decks overall, then playing Levencia could theoretically have more value. Like if like 50% of the, or if a majority of the top meta decks don't play a stadium, then Levencia all of a sudden gains a ton of value to be included in Gholdengo. But like right now, a lot of decks have like artisans and stuff like that. You're not hurting for energy in the late game as well. So the Reverum deck, it makes sense, and the Zoroark build, it makes a little bit of sense as well. But besides those two builds, I don't think it should be played more. I don't think it's like correct to play for sure. Do you think Klefki is worth running in Guardy if you expect a lot of Miraidon Joltic? Could see it. Yeah, it's pretty annoying for that deck to deal with. It's not like impossible to overcome. I'd have to test it to see how big of a factor it actually makes. Yeah, it also maybe depends a little bit on the build as well. Like if you're playing the Brent build, Brent doesn't play any Poffin. I don't know if you want to play Klefki in a build of Gardevoir that doesn't play Poffin. So I'm not sure. I don't think I'm trying to force Klefki into the Brent Tonison build of Guardy. And even like the problem is one of the biggest problems with Klefki in Gardevoir is that it eating up a bench space was already felt bad last format, but it feels so much worse this format to put Klefki in play. It just feels miserable. Like if your opponent just gusts around it, you're just like, bro, I have this guy on my bench the whole game. So I don't know if you can. I wouldn't play it in the Brent build probably just because of the lack of Poffin. And then I don't think I would run it in the Zoroark build either because the bench space is like super important in that build. But I guess you could just like give up on Zoroark in certain matchups as well, which would make it fine. So it definitely seems good against Joltic. I don't know if it's worth it though. I'd have to test it. Before you got into streaming, what was your job? Landscaping. So do you think the Hydreigon EX deck? So do you like the Hydreigon EX deck? Not particularly. And do you think it fits in the current meta? No idea. Should more Arvins be included less? Another Dragapult here from Bernardo. Nothing crazy. Jack, Brock scouting. No Nor build. No Genesect. Honestly, I don't like the no Genesect. I think Genesect is actually really, really good in... and fits well into this build of Dragapult for sure. I don't know if it should be played in the Dusknoir builder at all or not, but I think the Genesect is really, really good in this build of Dragapult. So I would definitely try and play it for sure in these kind of builds. Because shutting down the Unfair Stamp in the mirror match, if you break Badoo Lock first, and then shutting down Gholdengo's Energy Search Pro is just really, really good for sure. Have you played any games with Blissey? Not yet. Play some more. We'll play some today at some point. Oh, and Dalgard here. Dragapult. Dusknoir. No Ursaluna. That's interesting. I think Ursaluna is pretty powerful in the deck right now. But basically the Hedrick 60, but plus an EXP share over the Ursaluna. Also 3 Duskull. Yeah, so 3 Duskull has EXP share. No Ursaluna. Interesting. There's a luxurious cape in there. Diego here. Pretty straightforward Guardy build. Nestwell 2 Poffin. Got the Drifloon. Still playing Arvins. Arvins not a bad card in Gardevoir. It's just kind of like fine. 3 Guardy EX. I'm a huge fan of 3 Guardy EX personally, to be honest. I love 3 Guardy EX in Gardevoir deck. Naturally drawing into a Gardevoir feels so much better than drawing a stupid Ultra Ball. What build do you like between Brent's and Henry's? No idea. Haven't played with Gardevoir or either of the builds. Oh, another one? 2 people. Dude, 2 people rolled up with Gholdengo with the Dudunsparce and didn't put the Dudunsparce EX in the deck. Just leave the rest of the family with him, bro. Just unsleeve all of it. Leave them all behind in the binder. How are you gonna bring you're gonna leave the most important part of the fam, bro? Like the most important part is the Dudunsparce EX. That's the only reason to play the Dudunsparce line. Pablo here, rocking the Gardevoir, playing the Brent Tonison build. Looks like from Atlanta, like maybe the exact same 60. Yeah, playing the exact same 60 that Brent played at Atlanta. No Turo. Did not have the Turo upgrade. Now the Turo upgrade. Ivan here, last of the top 32 players here with the Joltic box. Definitely a deck I'm going to have to put some time in with. Doesn't have some of the interesting cards that Tyler had. I would definitely say if you're looking to pick up a build, I'll try out Tyler's build with like the Maractus, and the what's it called guy, the grass guy. Oh, you can't go wrong with this build either, to be honest. They're pretty close. Fernando here with the Raging Bolt, nothing crazy. Yeah, we're gonna go all the way down to top 64, see if we see anything interesting here. I'm gonna start to scroll through these a little bit more aggressively now that we've left the top 32 to look for anything cool. The highest placing Tank Terrapagos here. With the Pidgeot, actually. Did play the Pidgeot in here. Oh, so this is actually the Pidgeot build of Tank Terrapagos. And I do think, I was saying this at the end of last week, or last week in general, I think if you're going to play Tank Terrapagos, I would play the Pidgeot build for sure. I don't think, if you're trying to win the tournament, I think Tank Terrapagos is a pretty bad play for this weekend, and moving forward, it doesn't seem great. But if you're going to play it, I think you need the Pidgeot, to be honest. The deck needs to become more powerful. You need to play something like the Pidgeot in there, I think. But, yeah, no EV until now. We haven't seen a Flareon deck yet. Yeah, we haven't seen a Flareon deck yet, actually. I'm not overly shocked by that. 'Cause I think it was like an okay play going into the weekend. More Raging Bolt action here. This list is pretty. They got the Iron Leaves in here. A Vitality Band. I don't know where that math lines up. Only one Bravery Charm. Also, the other list only had one Bravery Charm. Two Bravery Charms, like I've seen a lot of. Yeah, I've seen two Bravery Charm on most builds, to be honest. Bit math is for Guardy with Pikachu. I mean, does that even come up though? You're not setting up Pikachu in that matchup. Aren't you just setting up two Iron Hands and trying to win with double Iron Hands? Like, it just doesn't matter. Vit to Amp Duraludon. That's good. Yeah, Vit to Amp Duraludon would be nice for sure. Terrapagos or Tera box? Probably, if I pick between those two, probably Tera box, to be honest. Fabrizio here. Dragapult, Dusknoir, still rocking the Crystal. We saw Fabrizio playing a similar list at Atlanta. Nothing too crazy. I don't know, Unfair Stamp seems so broken right now. Crystal's like fine. I mean, Crystal's good still, of course, but I guess like Unfair Stamp becomes less. Oh, Fabrizio was still playing the Crystal at Atlanta though as well. Unfair Stamp seems less good now that Tera box is becoming less popular, but still I'm not sure. So what was the most fun deck to play in your opinion? The next deck that I play with. Did Tyler run 4 Crispy? Yes. Would Energy Booster Capsule be better? This leaves hits 200. Well, no. Getting the +1 damage on the other Pokemon is probably more relevant. So you can't. Yeah, that's not replicatable. I think, yeah, Iron Leaf's hitting for 200 doesn't change anything. It definitely isn't better than Vitality Band. You're playing Vitality Band because it does Vitality Band things. Thoughts on Ethan's Typhlosion? It's a card. Wait a second. My YouTube chat died. All right. Tank Terrapagos. It's kind of the standard list that we've seen for. This is what people have been playing for a while. Has the Genesect in here, but doesn't without the trolley. I'm not sure I like that. Prime Catcher as the A-Spec. Best strat to beat Gholdengo? It's not a question that's answerable. That is too broad of a question to have an answer to. Play Genesect, I guess. Play Genesect. That's the only actually good answer to your question. Dragapult Dusknoir again. Highest placing Archaludon. Poison Archaludon. Top 64. I mean, that's respectable for this deck. I'm not going to lie. Very respectable for this deck. You know, usually we're looking at, yeah, top 64, top 128 being the highest placement. So, you know, respectable placement for Poison Archaludon. Another no-nor build here. Nothing crazy. The Genesect or Luna. Dory, obviously. 2 Crispin. Oh, so this is a little bit more similar to the build that we saw last week from... Reference it real fast. From Jones and Lashmet. Yeah, it's pretty similar to that build. The one Luminous, the one Basic Dark. The Vessel. Actually playing the Vessel. Dude, the Energy Surge, man. The Energy Surge. Phrase another day. Which decks have good matchups into Dango? Poison Archaludon. It's got a good Dango matchup. No Nor Dragapult. This one, double Monkey Dory, is still the Luminous build. It's the triple Luminous build, but it fit the second Dory in here. I actually don't hate that. I don't know if that's like worth it, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know if the double Monkey Dory is worth it, to be honest, but I don't hate it. It doesn't seem bad, you know. I'll say that, I guess, for sure. It doesn't seem bad. I guess, like, I mean, I guess, like, the one thing to, like, think about with that, though, is, like, lack of Crispin, only one EXP share. Like, are we really gonna be able to set up a Dragapult to attack and a second Monkey Dory? Like, is that even gonna happen? Like, what is the chance that that even happens? Not very high, right? I guess it could also just be for prizing factors as well. Like, like Monkey Dory is so good that prizing it hurts us so much that we'd rather play 2 just to mitigate the prizes. I don't hate that logic for playing the second one. Yeah, I don't hate that logic for including the Monkey Dory. Similar once again to that list that I just talked about. Smart here did play Eevee Box. So highest placing Eevee Box here, 47th. Gabriel Smart. I mean, nothing too crazy here. This looks pretty similar to Means' build. Does have the Sparkling Crystal in there. Yeah. Nothing too crazy going on here, though. It's pretty standard as far as like EV box lists go. I want to say, especially with the crystal here. Like the biggest difference I've seen from lists was just Jonathan Means list at Atlanta playing the unfair stamp over the crystal, to be honest. Another Poison Archaladon, you know, once again, top 64, very respectable for this deck, you know. Can't really expect too much more out of this deck's power level. Highest placing Charizard deck here. Oh, I see why the previous Gholdengo players didn't have the Dudunsparce EX, because the Charizard players were playing it. Man, there's a lot going on here. Charizard. It's a Charizard to Dudunsparce draw engine with the enriching energy. I've seen this before. I think we saw it at Champions League once, but I've heard people talk about it and stuff like that. I mean, I still think Charizard's terrible, of course. There is so much. There's Charizard in here. You got the Rabsca in here without TM Evo. Rabsca without TM Evo. So that Rellor is just getting nuked by a Dusclops, theoretically. Dragapults usually aren't attacking until turn 3, though, to be honest. So, like, you're not too afraid of that. I guess the Badoo you have as well could slow them down. One of each to Dunsparce. You got to have the whole squad. Trading Places. Got Trading Places, Find a Friend, and then the Free Retreat one as well. That's funny. No Arven either. It's a Drayton build. I don't hate that, I guess, because you're cycling the deck, right? So you're cycling the deck with the Dunsparce, then Drayton to try and find the candy combo. I actually don't hate the Draytons in this build, to be honest. I don't hate that at all. Still has Dusknoir in here as well. As Charizard to Dusknoir to Dunsparce, Rabsca. There's just a lot going on here. And then the Enriching Energy, of course, for the draw engine. Yeah, obviously I don't think very highly of Charizard or to Dunsparce, but I mean, this could be the best way to play Charizard for all I know, to be honest. There's a lot going on there, though. Dragapult, Gholdengo, Rahul with the exact same 60 we've seen so many of. Zach Lesage here with the EV box. I think this is the same 60 from Gabriel Smart played. David here, Dragapult, Caesar, or excuse me, Gholdengo Caesar. Nothing crazy in this list. I will mention, I think 2 TM Evo is just the way, though. I will say that if you're playing Gholdengo, you should just be playing 2 TM Evo. It's just too important to pull off turn 1 TM Evo. Prizing it sucks. Even if you don't find Arven turn 1, the increased odds of just finding the TM Evo is really, really good. I also think 4 Cypher Maniac is overkill. I actually think 3rd Pokegear. I think more Pokegears. I think even up to like the second Cypher Maniac. Like Pokegears are just better than Cypher Maniacs. Definitely past the 3rd Cypher Maniac. Maybe not past the 2nd. Like maybe 3rd Cypher Maniac should come before 3rd Pokegear. But 3rd Pokegear should definitely come before 3rd Cypher. Like finding turn 1 Arven is this whole deck. The whole deck is Arven. I don't know. The whole deck is turn 1 Arven. So those are my comments though on this build specifically. Besides that, Caesar build. Nothing crazy, nothing wild. Highest placing Raging Bolt that does not have the Noctowls. Of course, you love to see that. Of course, it's always going to be hard to... so many less people playing the optimal way to play Raging Bolt, so it's going to be a lot harder for it to pull the placements here. Double Slitherwing is interesting. 3 Jamming Tower is a lot of Jamming Tower. Call Bell when? Not very often, to be honest. Pika Respect with the 2 wings. Yeah, hella Pika Respect going on with the double Slitherwings for sure. Yeah, the triple Jamming Tower. That's just a lot of Jamming Tower. I think 4th year should come before 4th boss in Bug Maridon. No, 4th boss should probably come first. Boss is just way too important in that deck. Also, like, Arven isn't as essential like turn 1. What the fuck we jamming? I mean, there's a decent amount of tools. It doesn't feel like there's a 3 Jamie, like overcycling roads in here. It doesn't feel like Jamie Tower is that good right now. Crystal, EXP share, Bravery Charms. I mean, against Gardevoir it seems really good. Against Gardevoir it seems really good, but it's not even that good against Gardevoir because like you have so many liabilities in play with this deck. Like Gardevoir doesn't need these big one-hit plays that aggressively or that often. Yeah, it's a lot of Jamie Tower. Blake here, no Norpults. Pretty close to the Tanner build, if not the exact same 60 that Tanner played. Oh no, it's got the Jackson here, so it's not quite the exact same 60 that Tanner played at Atlanta. Got some Jackson there. Kieran here with the Frostlass Badoo deck. You love to see it. You appreciate the 10 gifted there. The Storybook, welcome to the back there. Bogans. Ashley, Pixel, Blader, Zuka, Vladiak, Russ, Dad, Ketchal, the double A battery, and Mira something. I'm trying to figure it out. Miranda. Welcome all to the back. I appreciate the 5 gifts. I always appreciate the support there. Storybook. We're almost out of lists, but we got plenty of stuff to test. Yeah, you love to see the Frostlass Badoo here from Kieran, to be honest. I really like the 2 TM Evo here. I've thought about the TM 2 TM Devo a little bit more in this deck, and I really like the double TM Devo. For sure. I think this deck has a lot of potential personally. I don't know where its ceiling is. I don't know where this deck's ceiling is, but the deck is definitely like pretty solid. The deck is definitely pretty solid. For sure. Appreciate the 54 months there, Shadow. I've seen Tim Franklin's Badoo deck. I have not, no. Our Chaladon Caesar with double Squawk? Bro, we do not need to Squawk that often with our Chaladon, bro. There's no way 2 Squawk ability with our Chaladon is correct. That is crazy. One of the powers of our Chaladon is how, like, efficient the deck is. Like, dude. There's just no way. What if you prize one? Bro, you probably have a research. Like, dude, double Squawk is wild in our Chaladon. Honestly, I don't even know if there's a deck. The only deck I think double Squawk makes sense in is literally this deck. As far as I can think of, this is the only deck that double Squawk makes sense in. You trying to motivate, man? Gotta stay motivated. That's just a good shout there. You gotta stay motivated. Dude, cut the Squawk for a 4th vessel, bro. We don't need motivation if we just get a 4th vessel in there. Sarah Ledge, maybe? Oh yeah, Poison. Yeah, Poison decks, Sarah Ledge. Okay, there's some decks. There's some decks. Not this deck. Not this deck. Also, Triple Tower. I guess like really trying to mess with Gardevoir. I feel like that's got to be there for the Gardevoir matchup more so than anything. Is the Triple Tower? Not sure that makes a ton of sense. It seems. I guess it does, right? That's how you get around Drifloon. It seems okay. I don't hate the Triple Tower. I do hate the double Squawk though. But besides that, Caesar build of our Chaladon. Got your standard options: Scuba Cyclone, Black Belt Training, Turos, Boss. Yeah, nothing wild. Another Joltic box in the top 64 here. This list looks pretty similar to some of the other lists we've seen. This one has a Power Glass. This is the only list we've seen with a Power Glass so far. Power Glass seems okay. It allows you to like attack with Pikachu and then Crispin Energy out of the deck. Power Glass 1 back to the Pikachu and then attack with Pikachu again, which is kind of cool, right? That's kind of cool. So I don't hate that, I guess. More Dragapult Dusknoir. All right, we're nearing the end of the top 64 here. So if anyone in chat knows of any cool decks outside of the top 64, go ahead and put the number in chat and we'll take a look at those briefly. Gardevoir, here's the first Gardevoir we've seen with the Klefki, actually. Klefki in there. I was mentioning earlier, Klefki's just kind of awkward. Another Poison our Chaladon. Yeah, Klefki's just kind of awkward. 136 or 139? 136, 139. Here's another Archaladon deck. The Dubwool, the Caesar, and the Toadscruel. The whole squad showed up in this one. Literally the whole fam. Literally the whole fam. And final top 64 deck here. Just another Raging Bolt with the Noctowl. Besides that, nothing crazy. All right. We're not going to take a look at every list, like I mentioned. 136 or 139. All right, let's start with 136 then. 93, someone mentioned as well. 93, that is just Poison. That's not funny. 136. There's going to be more Dudunsparce decks without Dudunsparce EX. 136. Oh, okay. Quad Clefairy making its appearance here. It's a trolley build as well. Trolley build of Quad Clefairy. The trolley feels kind of like off. I guess maybe it makes sense. Trolley feels a little bit off in this deck, but I guess maybe it makes sense. It's not just a Clefairy EX deck, though. Hold up. There's another... Wait, hang on. How does this card work? The Lily's Pokemon. Okay. We're also playing the Metronome Clefable. This is just a... It's just a Clefairy deck. Like, they went all out on this one. The 4-1-1 Clefable line here. Yeah, I don't know what the Metronome is good against, to be honest. It's Mew EX, but again, yeah, it's Mew EX, but for 2 energy, a little bit more efficient. 102. All right, let me go to the 102. Oh, okay. Slowking seen an appearance here. This isn't anything crazy. This seems like it's probably pretty standard for Slowking deck. Slowking, a deck that I have not tried out yet. The Slowking is making an appearance here. 82. Sure, we'll take a look at 82 next. 102 with the Slowking. All right, 82, 82. Here. Zoroark. Okay, see a Zoroark deck showing up here. Arven, no, but no TM Evo. Heavy on the Ultra Balls, 3 Ultra Balls, unfair stamp build. Nothing crazy. Has the Monkey Dory in here. I feel like a lot of lists have the Monkey Dory in here. 181, 188. Please use Control F. Oh, can I just do that? Oh, true. 181. True. Mamo in day 2. The Annihilate. 188. Future Hands. Bro, don't show me this garbage, bro. 152. I'm not trying to look at Future Box. Gholdengo, the Gholdengo Dodrio, bro. Is someone? Wait, no. Someone's been asking me to put Dodrio on something recently. I don't know if it was Gholdengo though. I forget. It might have been Gholdengo Dodrio. Dodrio. My problem with Dodrio is like it's not a good attacker in the deck because you're just never gonna build up enough damage on a Dodrio to literally ever use it. The Fan Rotom though, the Fan Rotom's kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. Being able to use Fan Rotom to get your Dodrio set up, kind of cool. But eating up the bench space, not a huge fan of eating up the bench space. Even if it gets you... Yeah, honestly, the Fan Rotom eating up the bench space is kind of an L. That kind of sucks. Because you need room for, like, Dory and Pheasantipity in so many matchups. The 1-1 Caesar I've already set up. I'm kind of a big fan of the Caesar. There's a Surfer in here. There is a Surfer in here. It's nice for activating Monkey for Pika. That is true. It does have that synergy in there. But you could just play, you know, like the Rocky Helmet or something. I think it's a little bit better of an option. But I don't hate it. I don't hate that one for sure. 159. Dragapult, Zoroark. Deck. There's... I don't know. There's a lot going on here. This one just feels like a lot. I don't know. This one just feels like a lot. Oscar Madsen special. Yeah, this is what I saw Oscar tweeting about this one recently. 168's got a little sauce. 177, 168. Yeah, the Bombardier. We've seen the Bombardier before. Oh, but Bombardier without the tool card doesn't make any sense, right? Bombardier, no Power Glass makes 0 sense. Why would you ever play Bombardier? Yeah, Bombardier without the Power Glass actually is just bad. They also just have a Ditto in here. Dude, I do not like what I'm looking at here. I'm not gonna lie. So you can go Poffin for Ditto to then turn it. Oh, so you Poffin for your Ditto. Ditto to the active, become Bombardier, Fast Carrier. I don't know about that. It does have the Hoopa EX in here. So this is like your answer for Cornerstone, right? This is what you're using as your answer for Cornerstone, I think. More so than anything. But then playing Bombardier feels like it's... There's no point in playing Bombardier unless Bombardier is your answer for Cornerstone, though, I feel like. I don't know. This feels a little half-baked here, to be honest. 125. Walls made an appearance. Oh, no, it's Blissey Walls. Only 1-1 Blissey, though. Interesting. Yeah, only 1-1 Blissey. But besides that, it's basically just a Walls deck. Walls deck that includes a 1-1 Blissey more so than anything. Yeah, it's not even a Blissey deck. It's just a Walls deck And it just has Blissey. Interesting. 110. This is just... Oh, it's Dragapult Dudunsparce with the Luminous. So it's just trying to play everything. We saw some of these. We honestly saw some of these at Atlanta where they had like everything. Why can't I search 160? Is it trolling? $160 not exist? It's just not there. 136? The secret deck. The forbidden deck. Dude, what the fuck? Why aren't they there? 136? We already saw the Clefairy deck. All right. I think that's going to do it for my recap here of the Monterrey Regional Championships in Mexico. Took a look at the meta, took a look at the decks. Yeah, the meta keeps evolving. It's sick. It's sick to constantly see the meta evolving, things changing, new decks popping up. I mean, I think my biggest question from the tournament is how good is Joltic box? Because definitely solid, but how good is it? And then is Blissey a deck? I think those are maybe my two biggest questions leaving this tournament. Yeah, how Joltic box is solid, but how good is it? And is Blissey a real deck? Like, is it? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about the Blissey deck, to be honest. Is it like I don't like to say this. I mean, okay. Yeah, if it is a quote-unquote matchup roulette deck, anything that you would ever think about, and you'd be like, oh, that's a matchup roulette deck, those decks are bad. They're not matchup roulette decks. They're just terrible. So is Blissey just bad? Could be. Gotta play some games, though.